a common thing I see happen is in QuickBooks, instead of receiving payment in QuickBooks, they just go and put the $5,000 into the bank account. If you don't follow the flow chart where you look here, we have the invoice, then you must receive payment and then make the deposit. If you skip a step, and let's just use an example, you create an invoice and you skip the receive payments, you will have invoices in QuickBooks that show that customer still owes you money, but your bank account will show that you received that money and it's in the bank account. So now your accounts receivable is incorrect. If you create the invoice and you receive payment in QuickBooks, and then you don't, and then you make the deposit, but you don't take it out of undeposited funds, which I see this very often. You'll see $100,000 in undeposited funds. And when you receive payment on an invoice, it reduces your accounts receivable. It shows the customers paid that invoice, and it posts it as income. So now it's on your P&L as gross income coming in, and the money goes to the bank account, but now on your balance sheet on undeposited funds, you have $100,000 sitting in there. So two things happen. When you received payment, you posted $100,000 to the gross income. You didn't take the money out of undeposited funds and put it into the bank account. You just created a deposit in QuickBooks, and you said, well, this was sales income. So now, by not pulling the undeposited funds and putting it to the bank, just creating a deposit in QuickBooks, you have overstated your gross income by $100,000. So it's very important when you have an account that QuickBooks creates, like an undeposited funds account or an opening balance equity account, it can have a huge impact on your profit and loss, which at this point you have an extra $100,000 on your profit and loss showing as gross income, which means at the end of the year, if you give that P&L to your CPA, they're going to report $100,000 more in gross revenue, and you're going to pay taxes on $100,000 more than what you should have because your QuickBooks were not correct.